Just Stone, while you're out looking for sugar, she's still looking. She's been looking for days now, isn't she? Now then, you've heard it said that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, my next guest has just released a stunning book. I've been looking at it for the last hour or so. A stunning book of photographs called Another World, where each image has, well, their own story to tell. Snowdonia-based artist and photographer Ed Gold has recently released a selection, you see, of images from his collection of over 16,000 pictures taken during his time whilst living in Patagonia, Argentina. He joins me now to say how the local community of gay men helped inspire him to, well, frame the story. Ed, you're very welcome indeed.
Thank you very much.
Tremendous book.
Thank you.
Incredible. It's character-filled, isn't it? You know, very atmospheric and esoteric as well. I mean, those fellas don't have to say a word. They're looking at you from these photographs and the whole story is coming out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing. Now then, your home is North Wales. Where are you from originally?
Essex.
Essex boy.
I shouldn't have said that. I should have said Colchester.
Well, famous in Roman days. And you built your own home, is that right?
Correct. A Mongolian yurt.
A Mongolian yurt?
Yes, it's a tent made from over 100 broom handles.
Good heavens above. And you've moved out, haven't you? Is that in Llanberis now, was that mean?
That's in Llanberis at the moment, yes. I just spent the winter there.
In Llanberis?
Yes.
My nephew's a policeman in Llanberis. Mind how you go.
I will. I'll stay up in the mountains.
Lives in the high street.
Okay.
That's amazing, because I saw them up in Colwyn Bay when we were up there, you know, during the, the cultural Olympiads and so on. Now, even the way you travel today, I've got to ask you, you've travelled in a way which is almost a one-off these days, isn't it? The way that you got here.
Absolutely. Motorcycle and sidecar.
A sidecar?
Yes.
With your dog in the sidecar?
Correct. Toss. He's a one-eyed retired farm dog. He's reading a copy of Radio Times at the moment.
He's out there. He's a, well, was it a border collie?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah, he's a good character.
I bet he is. And he doesn't mind staying outside?
Not at all. No, he'd rather be outside than inside, that's for sure.
Oh, my gosh. And he's in the sidecar. And you must love riding in the sidecar.
Pretty much. We cruised down from Llanberis yesterday to Pyle to see a friend at a good speed. It handles really well. Lovely scenery. I love the A470.
Yeah. It's a ley line, isn't it? From Cardiff, from Llandudno.
Yeah, you can feel it.
Yeah, absolutely right. This book now then, Another World, it's quite extraordinary. How did this unique documentary project come about in the first place?
Very simply, I moved to Wales in 1999 on holiday, and I never went back to England. I literally took my tent for 2 weeks and never returned. So I documented Wales and the Welsh for about 5 or 6 years.
Right.
And I'd heard about Patagonia, this amazing Welsh colony in Patagonia.
Yes.
And I was determined to get down there. So when I saw the TV program with Di Jones, all about it,
yes.
correct, which was filmed in 2002 but aired in 2004, that was enough to inspire me to go. Right. So I made plans, got down there in 2006, and only went for a month initially, but I ended up spending 2.5 years there. Such is the amazing story down there.
Yeah, I'm sure. Do you know there's a cafe in Estrygonice called the Mimosa? That's the ship on which they went.
Correct.
It was named after the ship, you see, this cafe.
Yes.
Because, people went from all over Wales, they joined together from north, the south, the west, and so on.
Yes.
It looks a hard place, because you look at this, these photographs now, and these people have been, hewn from the very rock of their birth, really, or from the land that they've been nurtured.
Yes.
And you can tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, people say that the language initially, the Welsh language down there is purer than the language in Wales, and I'm not a linguist, so I can't comment on that.
No.
But you can see an honesty in their faces and in their lives, which they've made for themselves down there, which is still going. When you go down there, you feel that they are still slightly in the past, not in a bad sense, but very humble, very brave people. I mean, there's a huge story down there. It's phenomenal. And in 1 month, I couldn't do it justice, so I had to stay longer.
No. What was the first impressions of these people then? As people who were welcoming?
Absolutely, very much so. I turned up and found somewhere to live in town, in Gaiman.
Yeah.
And then I had to walk around and establish my presence there. people started to learn that I was there to take photographs, and then I went further afield and managed to get out to the chakras, out into the farmlands outside. But they were really bemused by me, I have to say, because I'm an Englishman, and it's not easy to photograph in Wales, I have to say. But I went down there, and I eventually learnt to speak Castellano, the Spanish dialect down there. So I was able to travel around and meet people myself, and it helped a huge amount. But after 3 months, I met a local girl of Welsh descent, Tatiana Rogers, and I ended up living with her.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Well, still.
No, unfortunately, she's down in Patagonia. I'm up here at the moment. I don't know what's going to happen in the future.
No, distance made land enchantment. You know? Yeah, and the call may be stronger than you consider fight.
Yes.
There we fear. With me then, Ed Gold here, Photographic Project Patagonia, and I have an extraordinary book here, and Ed was telling me about his experiences, first of all, coming from Essex to North Wales, settling, never went home, and then got enmeshed in Welsh culture, and, well, photography was his thing, an extraordinary book here, and he's been to Patagonia, and I have, well, a list of photographs here. There's one here, extraordinary, Tigay Roberts gazing out of the window of Hyde Park.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was the room that inspired me to go.
Was it?
Absolutely. That was the room that I saw Tommy Davis being filmed in by Di Jones.
Right.
And it was basically like a time capsule. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it was like going back in time. It was all Victorian still. So unfortunately, the gentleman had passed away by the time I got down to Patagonia, but I went with Tigay Roberts to go and look at it. And then 2 years later, the building had collapsed. And there's a photograph in the book opposite the photograph of Tigay. Of it derelict and fallen down. So that's my concern, that actually Patagonia is really changing. People are passing away. Many people are passing away from cancer, and the buildings are disappearing as well.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
There's a graphic one here as well. It's on the, well, it's actually on the cover, isn't it? And this is my second pig killing, it says. I've been lost with 1, 2, 3, 4 fellas, all character filled, and the head of the pig is in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very proud of that one. I really do love it. It's superb. I like to use film when I can. Pentax cameras kindly sponsor me. They produce fantastic cameras, Pentax Ricoh, and they'd give me this lovely medium format film camera to take down to Patagonia with me. Yeah. So I had the idea in my head, and at the end of the day, I asked them to pose with a pig's head after they had done the killing, and it feels like it could be 100 years ago.
Yes, it does. Another colourful one as well, the celebration and the gathering here as well, and Pluto the horse, which seems to be, performing here, up on his hind legs.
Yeah, they have horse races with only 3 horses, so I don't know what the odds are, but this horse is...
You're bound to come third then. Fair play. And I love this one. Is it Ada Jones, the one there, she's got a cow?
Ada Jones de Griffiths, yes.
De Griffiths, that's right.
She was incredible. Unfortunately, she passed away last year at 101, but in the photograph, she's 97. She took me to see her milking her cows.
97, she looks pretty well for 97.
Absolutely.
Yeah. God grief. And she was milking her cows. And the back legs of the cows are tied up.
Tied up to stop it from moving.
Oh, I see, right.
Yeah, and I guess it can't kick her as well. Yeah. She'll probably give it a kick herself. But no, she had a tea house. Tea houses are very famous down in Patagonia, so you can go and get a Welsh tea. And she had a tea house that she would run, so the milk would go towards the butter and the cream.
I see, right. I've been flicking through the pages here now, and we're going to come to one at the moment. But is it Roy Hughes?
Homer Roy Hughes.
Before we get to Roy, though, I'm flicking through here, and I've got, is it Pamela Pugh? That's not the girl you sort of got enamoured with, is it?
No.
I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, beautiful girl in a red dress, yes.
In was it Wheatfield or something?
Rushes.
Oh, Rushes.
The book's worth buying just for that photograph alone.
Yeah, I know. I tell you, this is why I stopped at the page as I was flicking through. There we go. And then this one here. Well, it's the bare room, isn't it? With Roy Hughes in it, and he's got a beret on his head.
Yes.
Was he a bachelor?
He was actually. It was a good story to that. On the wall of a photograph, there is some writing in Welsh that's to do with a trip he made to Wales back in 1981. And apparently he had met a Welsh teacher in Patagonia, fell in love with her. Right. When he came back to Wales, she was actually with somebody else. And I think it broke his heart, legend goes. But he passed away at the age of about 51 recently from alcoholism, unfortunately. But I managed to catch him in his old family home a couple of months beforehand.
All right, because, he must have been depressed after that, coming back to
Very
Wales.
much so.
She was gone.
Yes.
There we are. The words in Welsh on the wall, and above it, A rifle.
Yes, rifles, some keys, horse bits, memorabilia.
Memorabilia indeed. How much Welsh is spoken out there now then, would you say, in terms of percentage?
Well, they say between 5 and 6,000.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
So I think it's quite a lot. They say between 50 and 60,000 Welsh descendants. But towns and cities exist because of a Welsh first going out there. It's a phenomenon to me.
Yeah. And the Argentinians know them particularly well, and they've retained strong elements of Welsh culture, haven't they?
Absolutely, yes, very much so. You really feel it. It's incredibly strong.
Yeah.
They celebrate the Eisteddfod, obviously the main Eisteddfod, but also they have mini Eisteddfods, micro Eisteddfods, Welsh teas for Gwyliglaniad when they celebrate the landing on the 28th of July. There's even a town called 28 de Julio, which is 28th of July, after the day of the landing.
All right. And I was going to ask, who is the book aimed at? But actually, it's aimed at anyone who might have an interest with these areas.
Well, it's trilingual. It's in English,
yes.
Welsh, and Spanish.
Byd arall, another world, Otro mundo.
Yes.
Is that the one?
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. Gosh. Do you have a particular favourite image here at all? There's something about Cuffin Williams' girl, isn't there?
Well, yes, Cuffin Williams went there in 1968,
Right.
and he drew a young girl who was 8 at the time called Norma Lopez.
Right.
And I know of Goma, and I must say a big thank you to Goma, my publisher, for making this book. But I'd seen the portraits book of Cuffin Williams's work, and I was interested to find the woman that he had drawn back in 1968. Yes. So I travelled one day about 500 miles from where I was living in Guyman, south into Santa Cruz. And I caught up with her, and I was the only person ever to catch up with her and to photograph her 40 years later. So she's now 48 years old, lovely lady, and she was able to recount the time that she said that she kept on kicking him underneath the table.
Well, I love this photograph as well. You haven't marked it here, but it's Gwyliglaniad, in other words, the Festival of the Landing,
yes,
which they have annually. And all the fellas come in there. It's a mixture now of Welsh and gauchos.
Yes.
With all these fellas coming there looking like, well, Argentinian gauchos, the 100%ers.
Yes, yeah. They've really adopted the culture as well.
Yeah. And your passion for photography has taken you to lots of places in the world.
Absolutely, yes. Well, since then I've been to Afghanistan to document the parachute regiment. I went on the front line there for 3 weeks. I've been to...
When was that?
That was beginning of last year. That was really? January to February.
Gosh,
yes.
Right.
And I met some Welshmen in the parachute regiment who I photographed. So I've got the Draigach, the Welsh flag in the background and the bed spaces. And I've also been to Donetsk, which is a city started in Ukraine by a Welshman called John Hughes in 1869.
Yuzovska.
Yuzovska. Yeah, that's correct. You know it.
That's right. You have to. Oh, there we are. Yuzovska there as well. And well, you've been. I'll look at the list here, of course. Ukraine, Alaska.
Yes.
And you're always looking at communities.
I love communities. I'm interested by minority groups, really. Not saying that Wales is, but going down to Patagonia, really the spirit of the people is really unique, and such lovely, brave people to have colonised that area.
Well, the photographs are absolutely stupendous, let me tell you.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm at the Eisteddfod tomorrow between 2 and 2:30 in the afternoon at the Goma stand while we're doing book signings. And then at 3 to 3:30 in the afternoon, I'll be at the Welsh Book Council doing signings as well. So if people would like to come and have a chat and look at the book, that would be fantastic.
Well, there we are. In the Eisteddfod, it will be called Byd arall, the other world, or another world in English, Otro mundo. Of course, will that be Spanish or would that be in the dialect of
No, that's Spanish as well.
Spanish as well.
There are some words which are different.
Yeah, I see. There we are. What a huge photographic project this has been. And it's been lovely talking to you on an incredible book.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Here we are. And good luck in the Eisteddfod tomorrow.
Thank you.